Welcome back to the Product Biz Podcast. Today we have a bonus fourth and final episode of this series of how product-based business owners who sell physical or handmade products can create another revenue stream through a coaching program, a membership, a course. And we interviewed 3 incredible entrepreneurs who have done just that so far. How Kristen took her polymer clay earring business and created a polymer clay earring membership where she teaches people how to make similar designs. Where Lindsay grew her Etsy printables business and then created an Etsy printables course. And how Sue, a custom portrait artist, started a coaching program to help share her modalities of healing with those people that she really connected with as she was doing her custom totem art portraits. So all 3 of these are examples of memberships, courses, or programs with one-on-one support where individuals started with a product-based business and expanded and created another revenue stream. And today I want to bring on a very special guest who is my coach and Kristen's coach and Lindsay's coach and Sue's coach. And his name is James Wedmore. And the 4 of us have learned from James Wedmore through his program, Business by Design, on how to create courses, programs, memberships, become a coach, become a teacher, become an educator. And he's going to share with you on this episode on how to start or scale a digital business. And I can't wait for you to hear directly from him. And at the end of this episode, I'm going to share with you some insights into his coaching program, Business by Design, that is open for the next 4 days only until Thursday, June 12th at midnight, where I am sharing with you some exclusive bonuses, including a free rebrand if you sign up for Business by Design using my link, where you will get my Authority Bootcamp absolutely free. So stay tuned to hear about it at the end. But first, let's bring James on so you can hear directly from him and hear what he's got to teach and share with you today. Well, welcome, James, to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here.
Yeah, Monica, thank you so much for having me on. This is going to be fun.
So I obviously know you pretty dang well since you've been my business coach for the last 4 years, I think it is. But some of the people listening, this is going to be their first time hearing you, hearing about what you do. So I'd love for you to just bring everyone up to speed on what you do and how you got started in the digital product space.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, I teach people how to get their, package their knowledge and expertise, turn it into a sellable, irresistible offer, launch it to the world, and build a business around it. This is my passion. I've been doing that for 9 years, teaching it for 9 years, but I actually started doing this 18 years ago. And I had to start with what I knew, which was very little. Let's be honest. I was like fresh out of college and I had a degree that I didn't want to go in that career direction. I was finding out pretty quickly I was like unemployable. So I was a bartender just to pay the bills. And that was like, that's kind of the only thing I knew how to do. So that was my very first digital product back in 2007. I registered the domain name bartendforprofit.com. And I launched my first online bartending school, made my first sale on the internet about 6 months later, April 18th, 2008. And it changed my life. So if you do the math, I think we're at 18 years, give or take, since the start of this. And this year, we will surpass over $100 million in total sales with digital products. And we've had tens of thousands of coaches, course creators, membership site owners go through our system, start their businesses, take it to 6. And the amount of people that have taken it to 7 already is just like phenomenal. So it's a blast. It's really fun. I'm a teacher at heart, so I love like seeing people step into a role of being a teacher and create more impact and help others as well. And then it's like, hey, I get to make money doing that,
Yeah. And it's so awesome because this podcast series that I've been doing, I've been interviewing people who started as product business owners, but then have expanded and added another revenue stream to their business that is on the digital product side. So Kristen from Hillside Studio, who does polymer clay earrings and now teaches others how to do that. Lindsay, who was really successful on Etsy and now teaches other people how to be successful on Etsy. And Sue Storm, who started as an artist doing custom portraits and now does energy and healing coaching and things like like that.
Yeah.
So it's super interesting how there's this shift that I see happening. And what I wanted to bring to my audience is, how do you diversify your revenue streams and have a digital product of your expertise, of your knowledge, exactly like you said, and share it with more people? So tell me a little bit more, like, why digital products as a business? Why is this a good business model?
Yeah, there's two paths to go to answer that question for people. One is the left brain and one is the right brain, or one is the head and one is the heart. From a left brain logical standpoint, I can give you all the stats. The global e-learning market is currently evaluated at 320 something billion globally. Now, 10 years ago, it was at about 100 billion. So it's increased by 200 billion in 10 years. I've been a part of that boom. We saw a huge boom in 2020. Everyone wants the internet, right? A lot of businesses got started now at that time and are really successful now. But those same studies and market research group is now predicting 550 billion in growth in the next 8 years.
Wow.
So 200 billion in the last 10, 550 billion in the next 8. I'm already seeing it. I'm just going to be honest. I think the privilege and the opportunity I have is I work with people like you, Monica, who are crushing it. People are just getting started, and people that are like building empires around this, multi-7-figure businesses. And the pattern and the trend I'm seeing, here we are recording this, almost the halfway point of 2025. Our clients Q1 of 2025 was the biggest and best quarter that they've had. We've seen more clients have more results and bigger results in this first 90 days, completed 90 days of 2025, than in the 9 years that I've taught this. That's really exciting to me. Now we can go into all the reasons why. I have a lot of theories. I don't think the whys really matter, but I have my theories. First of all, I think that the true coach and teacher has had a lot of obstacles that have prevented them from really getting their stuff out. Obstacles of the mind, like our fears and limitations and beliefs. We can get into that if you'd like. Obstacles around tech. It's never been easier than before. And with AI and software that exists, the constraints and bottlenecks to getting your stuff out there is becoming easier than ever before. I think on the other side of it, I see a wave of, if you just like connect to people collectively, people are hungry to grow. They're hungry to learn. They're hungry to pick up new skills, change directions and paths in their life, and step into a new career themselves. They're questioning their lives more. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think we should be doing that. And they're looking for leaders. They're looking for mentors to show them the way. And that's what I really love to do, is to steward those mentors. Now, the other side of the why, to answer that piece, is it's not for everybody, right? But there's a certain type of person that gets their cup so filled when they have an experience of another human being being impacted by something that you've created. And that is something that just never goes away. Like that, I'm still blown away by that. We're editing these videos right now of some of last year's case studies and clients that have seen tremendous success. And it's like, it's so moving 18 years later when you have someone say, just look in the camera and say, James and his program completely changed our entire family's life. And you're just like moved by that. And if that's you, that's the reason to do it. I mean, if your heart's in it, you want to do it. You're like, I actually would love the idea of teaching this and sharing this and helping people. Then that's why you should do it. You should do something because you love doing it. You should do something because you're like, I want to do this and it can help people and it can make me paid. But at the end of the day, the model is of digital products is the most profitable business model out there. So if you're doing physical stuff, hey, at the end of the day, I've got fixed costs for manufacturing or whatever I'm getting in. I've got my labor every time I want to make the individual product, or if I'm hiring someone to do it for me. And then of course you're going to pay your fees or whatever if you're, on like an e-commerce site or you're on Etsy or something like that, right? So you've got some fees. So the digital product model is the opportunity to create something once. And that just takes your time. And then you can get it into the hands of thousands and thousands. There's something beautiful with the fact that whether 10 people join your course or a membership or 10 million people join, there's really no increase in costs from that. And so there's something inherently beautiful with the model. And obviously, not only is it extremely profitable, it's extremely scalable. And as I've already mentioned, it's really fulfilling and rewarding. But here's something I want to offer to any of your listeners to really just, I think if there's anything I really want to do, it's to just always encourage people to think bigger. I read a book. It was actually my first book that I read out of college that really was like a gateway drug for me into entrepreneurship. Because like I said, I was a bartender and I was living in Irvine, Fullerton area of Orange County, California. And I was bartending at this on the border place and I was broke. I can tell you I had $89 in my bank account. So I would go to Barnes and Noble at night after my shift ended because it was right next door. And, you know, that's like that was our version of a library. You didn't go to the library, you go to Barnes and Noble and you would just sit in the Barnes and Noble with a coffee and you'd read the books because I couldn't afford to take them home. Right. And I'll never forget, I picked up a book and it was by a gentleman by the name of Dan Kennedy. It was called No BS Business Success. And I read the first chapter, and the first chapter, he's describing the DNA of an entrepreneur. And he said, a business owner starts like a jewelry shop, and you could come back 20 years later, and that business owner is still running the same jewelry shop. Maybe they have a little bit more inventory, you know, maybe another staff member or two, but it's the same thing. When an entrepreneur starts a jewelry shop, all of a sudden they're doing tours to the diamond mines and they're doing online courses and they've created consulting gigs and it's evolved and it's become all these different streams of revenue. And I think that's the privilege and opportunity that we all have in business today, is to look at whatever you're doing as just one stream of revenue and one opportunity. And I look at it as like tentacles from an octopus, and like each profit stream is like one of the tentacles, but at the head of that is you as the personal brand. And I think if anyone listening here started to look at what the true asset is the personal brand, then what you can do with that is huge. Because I'm just playing out a scenario here. If you built a personal brand, and what that means is you as the face have a relationship with a group of people, that they have a know, like, trust factor with you, then we're not just creating our physical product. We could be doing, as you mentioned, the workshops or a course on how to do it yourself. You know, you could be getting into, you know, different kind of ad revenue streams because people are following your content and watching. You can get into merchandise. You could be getting into software or create a whole other line of products because you have a baked in audience. And the reason I say this is because, you know, as my business grew and did what it did, I started looking into investments and creating wealth. And you know, I know, Monica, you know, I have some Airbnbs that I created. So I created a whole different profit stream in my life. And what I still say to this day is that the greatest investment that we can really have is the investment in our own personal brand. That's the one that's always ROI'd the most for me. And I don't know if I screenshotted this, but I saw it. We're running a Facebook ad right now. And let me see. I mean, yep, here it is. 4 days ago, I got a comment on one of our ads from a gentleman by the name of Paul Schmidt. Now, he got the date wrong, but I still got it. And he said, this is no joke, 22 people liked this, by the way. And he goes, I just wanted to say thank you. 24 years ago, I purchased your mobile bartending course online. This explained and gave me everything I needed to start my own mobile bartending business. In 2003, Shaker's mobile bartending service was started. And as of today, I am still going strong, averaging about 80 events a year. Follow this guy. he knows what he's talking about. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Now, it wasn't 24 years ago because I started it in 2007. So it was like, here, his years are wrong. That's totally fine. So like maybe 17, 18 years ago.
Yeah.
But just think about the implications of that for a moment. Like, here's somebody who's endorsing me and saying very kind things about me because of an encounter he had, let's just say 18 years ago. And that's the power of the brand and what you're doing when you put in the time to create great content, put it out there, support people, build a community around it. And this will be the last thing I say, because I know I'm talking a lot here, but I have a lot to talk about and I get really excited. But just to further implicate this is there's a process. And if you want to talk about it a little bit, we talk about it in our training series around monetize before you make it. And monetize before you make it is that the moment you have an idea for a new product, course, membership, we want to test it out in the marketplace. Well, Jenny, my fiance, and I, we just created our first course together. And instead of just creating the whole thing, we decided to beta test it. And we follow the same process that I teach my students. And we launched it to our audience, a small segment of our audience of about 500 people, with 3 emails. So technically it was like 2 emails to say, here's what's coming. And then 1 email with a link to the add to cart page. And we sold it out in 30 seconds. Now, less than 30 seconds, we think. We're rounding up. The goal was 50. We said we're going to let 50 people in. We pressed send on the email. We refreshed the page and we were at 116.
Oh my God.
So we think that's about a 30-second window.
Wow.
Now, I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but I want to point some things out. Number one, we use what we teach because it works. Number two, it was very simple. It was, like I said, it was a couple of emails and a checkout page. We didn't need to do ads. We didn't need to do a whole big launch or anything like that. And we didn't even need to like really tell people all the details of what you're going to learn and all that. We just kind of gave a little promise and said, here's how this is going to look. But because we have established the brand, I think that's one of the reasons why people were able to trust Jenny and myself and say, I'm in. And we had a lot of people that were really upset. They were upset that they didn't make it in that first 30 seconds, I mean, that's a good problem to have. And so, people hear that, and we're doing these trainings right now. We're helping a lot of new people get started, and they use this thing, right, of like, well, I don't have an audience. And, the answer is like, well, then get started. Mm-hmm. And getting started can be, there's 2 ways. So it's as simple as picking one of them or both. And it's, you're either going to create content in some form or fashion, or you're going to start running ads. And one takes time and one takes money. But everything in life that you want, as you already know, because you're a business owner, is on the other side of what you're willing to put in. And so the name of this game of building a brand and creating products around that is the game of content or ads or both. And I love using both, but you got to do that. And we have students and clients that are getting started and putting something out in their first 30, 60, and at the max 90 days. And so it's really not too far off to say, hey, like, you can do this too, So, okay, there's my spiel.
Okay. I'm going to tailgate on a couple of things that you said, because I love how you mentioned the personal brand, which is super interesting because every single person listening to this podcast has that. Because how I talk about product-based business is not just the products, but you got to be selling the products and you got to be telling the story and you got to be showing the benefit. So I love that because personal brand is already there. There's an audience that's already there. And a lot of what I talk with my members, especially in my program, is building your product business from a place of service, which I know is something you talk about so much. But if I were to give one example, one of my members, Jill, she sells these sweatshirts that say like, absolutely not, or sayings that like someone who used to be a people pleaser would want to wear on their sweatshirt to try to not be a people pleaser. And in one of our calls, I'm like, Jill, you're not selling sweatshirts. You're selling people how to express themselves as a recovering people pleaser. And like, you're not an expert on hoodies and sweatshirts. You're an expert in that. Yes. So even from understanding that, every single product business owner has an expertise in something. And now it's just, how do you serve more people through a digital product, which is more scalable, which exactly like you said, make it once, sell it to thousands, impact thousands with an audience you already have and a personal brand you already have. It's just like such a no-brainer to add that.
I
to the
agree.
business model.
There's something I hear in what you're saying, which is really powerful, which is something I try to share with everybody, including you. And you're always an ideal client for me, so I'm pretty sure you do a pretty great job at this. But it goes over a lot of people's heads, or they kind of like, yeah, 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 yeah. But what you're really talking about there is the importance of the vision. And I believe vision always comes first. And so, as we're talking about this, it's an opportunity to say, do I want to cast a bigger vision? Do I want to expand the current vision? And so, what you did with that client example is you elevated her vision to say, the vision isn't sweatshirts. The vision is this is a movement. This is a message. This is a declaration, affirmation of transformation of my identity. And that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And sweatshirts is just one manifestation of that. And when you see that the vision is always bigger and that's where it starts, you get to see what else can spring forth from this vision. And that's all we really are as visionaries, is we are stewards to the vision. Is what is the vision? What is, how is it getting bigger? And what needs to be expressed through that vision out in the world, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Now, if someone's starting to get an idea of this, can you give me examples of different types of digital businesses that are out there, like memberships, courses, and just give us an
Yeah.
explanation of what you see your clients do and what you teach?
The short answer is all of it. And I will give examples, but not without saying first that there is no objective one right best way. There will be a right way for you, 1000%. You know, a mutual good friend of ours, Rachel Coons, and she is hitting 400,000 in sales this year. And that sounds pretty awesome. And obviously, with digital product based business, you have a lot more like profitability, scalability with that. And she doesn't sell anything over $27. So she has a $27 a month membership, and it started as helping moms just save money on the grocery runs. And that's how it started. What's cool is it's evolved, and now it's becoming so much more. And it's helping moms like with their relationship with money and finances, not just at the grocery line, but in every area of the household and their life. And that's 2 years. She's done this in 2 years, right? So, and then we have you know, people that are doing high ticket group coaching retreats, and you know, self-study online courses, you know, anywhere from a couple $100 to 1,000. My sister is a great example. You know my sister very well. Yes, she's a student of ours, a client of ours. And she started by charging about $1,000 to do like live 8 weeks of like Zoom coaching in a small group format. And she was like, wow, it's really a lot for me to do that. And I'm a mom with 2 kids and stuff. And I said, well, just turn it into a pre-recorded course, just sell for a couple $100. And now she's doing webinars, and she's doing $4,000 on each webinar, selling a $300 product, and building her list like crazy. So the options are endless: high ticket, low ticket, pre-recorded course, membership, to live coaching, and kind of everywhere in between. And the reason I call my whole, you know, system business by design is because I firmly believe there is no objective one right way. There is what is going to fit your lifestyle and your market. And I've done them all. I've done every single type of digital product over the years. So I can say that with a lot of conviction and certainty, because I've lived all those business models. So yeah.
Awesome. I love it. What about the 5 ingredients that every digital business needs? What would you say is included there?
Sure. So this is really important because I'm hoping you already learned this from Monica, because, you know, I might be dating myself here, but if you remember the classic film Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner, Monica's too.
I haven't seen it. No.
I grew up on this movie. It's like early 90s. And so basically he's in like Kansas or something. Like he's in the middle of a cornfield, and he hears a voice whisper, and it says, if you build it, they will come. And I think that's the approach that new or green entrepreneurs really take, is that if I just build it, they will come, right? Like if I just create this product or this course, and that's all my work is to do, then they will just come and buy it by the droves. And I'm sure that's why a lot of people come to you. It's like, I've created this amazing thing. Why isn't it selling? And it's
Yep.
like, well, because you have to sell it, you know?
Hmm.
And so I don't want that to be the case for your digital product. In other words, a lot of people spend 6 months creating a product and then it just sits on their website and no one buys it. And they won't. That's not how people buy a digital product. So there's a whole psychology to it. And so what we teach our students is saying, hey, get the product out there, get it done, get it created. You know, monetize before you make it is the best way to get it out there. But what it really is we have to look at it as three intersecting gears in order to make sales. And then there's two for scalability. So the first one is having an offer, the irresistible offer, which we can unpack that a little bit. But we then need a sales system, that's number two, to sell the offer. So it's not going to sell itself. If you build it, they will not come. So you have to sell it. So offer one, sales system two, and then what I call an attraction system is number three. So the attraction system is your primary method or platform for continual lead and audience generation, attracting people. And I think, I don't even want to say think, I know that someone who's already started, okay, so this is just like, if you're brand new to this is just what I'm warning you will come down the pipeline if you're not listening, is that when people come to me and they say, I'm not making the sales I want, I'm not growing the way I want, they're simply missing one of those three gears. So they're not filling the sales system with leads. The sales system is non-existent, broken, or they have no offer or a bad offer. So it's not one thing. And that's what a lot of people, I think, get it wrong, is they try to tell you it's just this one thing. If you just do Instagram, you know, if you just do webinars, if you just do XYZ, everything will work. And where in life is it ever just one thing? You know, that's kind of the illusion. Like if you wanted to bake a cake, it has more than one ingredient, you know? And so what I wanted to do was distill it into the most simplest form. So those are the three to get started. And we see people are literally getting started in sales at 90 days at the most, and as little as a week and 30 days. It's really not, I mean, everyone's different. And some people, you know, are more of a like jump off the cliff and build your wings on the way down. Some people like to have a little bit more time and whatnot. That's, hey, to each their own. It's business by design. It's life by design, right? But we see that happens in the first 90 days. Now, to turn this into a business and make it sustainable, because that's what we really bring to the table for people, is I don't want you to just see this as like a distraction or fun idea because you're bored, but really turning it into a thriving business that's long term. Because that's what I aim to do. And I aimed to do myself in the past. And I think if there's anything worth like bragging about, and it's not that I want to brag, but what I'm most proud of in my accomplishments is that I've been able to do this for so long and do it consistently with consistent growth. And so that's a lot of what I bring to the table, is teaching people that. So the other two gears, and it's not to overwhelm or intimidate anybody yet, is the gear of team and ascension. Now, team, people get, oh my gosh, intimidated by, but we have a formula that we teach. It's called DADA. And I know it sounds a little silly, but as quickly as we can, once we're started, we want to delegate things off of our plate. We want to automate things, and we want to delete things off of our plate. There's things that we really don't need to be doing. We just did a training yesterday, and we had over 4,000 new entrepreneurs, and the amount of them that admitted that they're staying busy in their business all day with nothing to show for it because they're doing things that they don't even need to be doing. It's fascinating how people will fill their days with nonsensical things just to stay busy because they can't be with the present, with the uncomfortable nature of stillness. And doing is not the path to growth. It's actually the enemy of growth. And people don't really see that or realize that. And it's actually the less you do, the more you'll make. And if you look, if anybody here, I know that's really hard for people to try on and get that, but if you look at the sum total of your results that you have right now, and if I said, like, how many sales did you make? Like, where are you at? And then you look back, you would probably have to acknowledge that it's between 5% to no more than 20% of the work that you did that had a direct correlation on the results you're receiving today. That if you really looked at it, there's a lot of stuff you were doing that never panned out, that never amounted to anything. It was like, why was I doing that? Why was I spending all this time doing this? Like, why did I do all that? And it didn't really result in anything. And that's just kind of the nature of things. That's the Pareto principle, right? And so there's a lot of things we can say no to. And then the fourth letter, or the A of dada, is that now with like the, what's emerging with AI technology is we as business owners have an opportunity to look at AI as an employee. Mm. So there's a lot that can be done, not necessarily by us anymore, because we can say, hey, do the market research on this. Or, hey, like, this is a great example of this. Like, this is so cool. So we build trained AI bots as a part of my program, Business by Design. And we have a trained bot now that can take any YouTube video of mine, and it does like 10 things at once. You just give it the URL. It does a transcript. It creates the YouTube description. It creates a time-stamped table of contents. It turns it into a blog post, email, and different length summaries for us. And it does it in a click of a button. And it's like, my jaw is, I know I'm an old timer here. My jaw is still on the floor because I used to spend all days doing stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And this was 7 seconds. So that's like really exciting. So we want to get as much off of our plate as we can so that we can focus on the revenue generating activities. So that's the importance of team. Now, ascension is a piece I teach that I said, remember, it's 3 to start and 2 to scale. So ascension is about understanding something really exciting, that if you're having people buy one product, chances are they're going to want to buy a second. And what we see is that when we create a product path for our students, because there's an interesting phenomenon in huge human nature, is that the solving of one problem just creates another problem. Well, now that I know how to create this or do this, I want to know how to do that, right? Problem, solution, problem, solution. Now that I know how to create a product, how do I sell it? Like, literally, because I'm a huge, just to go on a side tangent for a moment, I'm a huge Etsy fan. I'm a huge local business fan. I go to all the markets and the shows, and I love buying unique stuff. Everything I want in my house, whether it's art on the wall or a sculpture or something, I want a story behind it. And recently I've been getting into garden art, and I found this really cool welder that just makes incredible pieces, and we're putting them all over our backyard. And I talked to him, and it's the same conversation I'm having with you and your listeners. I said, I'm like, you welded this yourself? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, have you ever thought about doing welding classes? Like, that would be so freaking cool. And he's like, actually, I have. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, so can you imagine if all of a sudden he's doing his welding art, and then he's just hosting workshops on how to get started with welding. And then all of a sudden he's got students that are welding great pieces of art. What is the next thing that they're going to ask? How do I sell it? Right. And it's like, there's your next product. So the ascension model, or the ascension gear, is about understanding a very simple business principle. And I'm sure Monica's taught it to you in some capacity, because it's so simple, but it's powerful, which is universally true, that it's up to 10 times easier and less expensive to get a repeat customer than it is to go out and get a new one. And that's, when you think about that, whether it's in your physical products or digital products, that's where you have more business. Here's an example. Her name is Sue, and I can't remember her last name off the top of my head. I'm going to bring it up. And she's a client that does pottery. And she creates these little pots called gratitude pots. And she attended one of my calls and says, I want to send them to you. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, well, yes, please. And now when I saw them, I was like, I have to have them. And now they're gifts for like friends and family because I'm like, yeah, here she is, Sue Schweitzer. And she's Schweitzer Ceramics. And these little pots are just like
Oh,
amazing.
I love it.
And so now she like custom makes them for you when you talk to her. And I'm like, so now I'm like buying them again and again and again, you know. And then she's like, oh, I also have coffee mugs and bowls. And I'm like, yes, 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 yes. You know what I mean? So anytime we can think about how do I get a repeat customer, you're in business. And what the Ascension gear creates is something called LTV, lifetime customer value, which is what a customer's worth to you over the lifetime of their experience with you. So the higher the LTV, the healthier the business. And I think we want to like keep making sales, keep making sales, keep making sales. And if we say, well, what about the people that have already bought from me? And why can't I keep working from them? Because they'll buy again and again and again and again. Whether it's the same product for their friends and family. Hey, you got a birthday coming up, Christmas is coming up. Or, hey, now that you have this, you might want this, this, and this. And I'm talking, this is universal. This is universal business. This isn't just physical products, it's digital and vice versa. So those are the 5 years. And when you do that, you have a business machine. And I call it a machine because I think a lot of people, more today, people are getting into business than ever before. And that's really exciting to me. But I firmly believe people don't have the first effing clue how to start it or run a business. And if you don't know how to run a business, what happens is it ends up running you. And I think that's because what people don't recognize is that in order for a business to live and to thrive, it has needs. It's kind of like a kid or a dog. It's a living, breathing organism. You have to treat it that way. It has needs. And you don't get what you want until it gets what it wants. So right now we are at our launch house, is what we call it, down in Phoenix, and my whole team is here. And one of our team members just had a newborn, so she's a 5-month-year-old baby. And obviously, you're watching that and seeing it up close and personal. And if the baby misses the nap or doesn't get woken up in time for dinner, we know what happens, right? It cries, it's up all night, blah 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 blah. So if the baby doesn't get its needs, the structure, the routine, the feeding 5 times a day, and the nap times every in between, then you don't get what you want, right? And so the business is the same way, is that if the business isn't getting what it needs, you definitely ain't getting what you want. And so there's certain things that the business just needs in order for it to be run healthy. And so why I say this is I think a lot of people are just focusing on trying to make money. Let me just make sales. Let me just make money, make my money. And they're not looking at it like a business. And what the most successful entrepreneurs I see do is they don't focus on making money, they focus on making a well-oiled machine. And it's the machine that makes money. So I give that machine what it needs so that it can give us what we want. And it needs these 5 years, and it needs these 5 years working properly and in a healthy manner. And I think to the degree in which we create a healthy business is the degree in which we can grow. Because our business, I think we get into business because we see it as an infinite earning potential. But I believe our business grows to the level of problems that we can handle. And the problems that manifest in the business are just the byproduct of the health of the business. And so if we can create something that's healthy, that's clean, it's simplified, and it's refined, then we can create more growth. Just to give an example, because I know it's conceptual, but if all of a sudden I gave you 10,000 orders right now, and you didn't have the systems in place to fulfill on those orders, you couldn't grow to that level, right? And so that's an example of what I'm talking about is putting that in place so you you can have that growth. So I hope that all makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the beautiful part is your program, Business by Design, dives into those 5 gears and shows exactly that, which helps immensely for someone getting started. And speaking of someone getting started, because most of the people listening here probably have an idea or something that they are like, ooh, I could be an expert in this, or ooh, I could help people with this, or I can make an impact here. What are some of the biggest fears, limitations, or beliefs you see holding people back from getting started?
I've heard them all. And as long as we can identify them and label them for what they are as fears and limitations of the mind, then you're right as rain. But I've had everything from a big one is some form or vein of permission. They're looking or waiting for permission, and behind the permission is validation, and behind the validation is a lack of worthiness or deservedness. Who am I to be doing this? What if it's not good enough? What if they don't like me? What if they don't buy it? What if this is a waste of my time? What if I can't actually help them? And I've been there, done that with all of them myself. And I really see, and I stand very strongly behind this, that this business is actually really simple. We can boil it down to 2 things: attract your audience and sell them what they want. What makes it really hard is what comes up for us in between our ears, and that's what slows or stops most people. And there's other things as well. I think people have a fear of it failing. What if it doesn't work at all? Like, what if I waste 6 months of my time? But then I've met people that say, but what if it does work? Isn't that funny? Some people go, I'm afraid it will fail. And then people say, I'm afraid this thing will actually take off, And no matter what, you choose a path of business, you're choosing a path of growth. And on that path of growth, you're going to have to face some fears, and you have a chance to conquer them. And that's a wonderful thing. I think there's a cheat code to all of this, which is where you place your attention. And it's up to you to do it, because no one can do it for you. But if your attention is simply on, I want to help people, and I'm putting this out, who can I help and how can I help them? Then you'll notice that the fears aren't really there. They don't get fed, at least. Like, you can still have the fear there, but you're not amplifying it. You're not feeding it. It doesn't become all consuming. I'm just here to help someone today. Who can I help? How can I help them? Because you'll notice that all of the fears, any fear you're feeling right now, any limitation, any belief, 100% of the time is a fear about the self. So it's about, you're concerned about what will or could happen to you. You can look bad, get rejected, get negative criticism, fail, waste time. That's all about you. And so all of those are about protecting the self, protecting the ego. That cannot thrive in an environment that says, this isn't about me, this is about, I could help somebody. And that takes us full circle back to what I was saying before. I can do this for 18 years because every day I have an experience of someone saying, this is how it changed my life. And today it isn't about the money at all. Like, the money's nice. And I want you guys to all have, experience as much abundance as possible. But if you do it for the money, I think you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And if it's just, this can help people and this can help someone, not everybody, you're not here to help everybody, but if it can help one person, if there's someone out there that's struggling, who's drowning, or they're being misled and going in the wrong direction, and you're like, no, I got you, I can help you. Why would you not do it? And then you realize it has nothing to do with you, And that's what I love doing. I truly today just love coaching and helping people. And it's so fun for me. And I want that for more people, but your heart's got to be in it. So, hopefully that helps.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, so now last question for you.
Sure.
I'm assuming there's so many people that are like, okay, I want to do this. I want to give this a whirl.
Yeah.
And what really brought me into being a coach and having my own program was Business by Design, which is your program, which I joined, I think, 4 years ago. Crazy to think about
Wow.
that. But can you give us an overview of what BBD is and how it
Sure.
helps people, someone who may be brand new starting out?
Yeah, of course. So basically, I'm going to approach it from a few angles. It's everything I've learned and continue to learn on how to start and scale a digital product based business to seven figures and beyond, all in one place. It's everything I know, but it's not just like thousands of videos or something just sitting there. The way we've designed the program is very, very powerful because there's work to be done. There's things to do, like anything, right? And all of the work to be done, whether it's a monetize before you make it launch plan or creating a landing page or something like that, is delivered to you in step by step execution guides and processes. Similar to the metaphor we use is the Lego instruction manual. So it's just step by step. And we do that in a way so that if you're new and you're just like, I just want to someone tell me what to do and follow directions, there you go. But as you grow, I teach you how you can hire your first overseas virtual assistant and start handing things off to them and they do it for you. That's where the real magic kicks in. So that's a big piece of what it is like grab this process and run and just do what it says. Follow the process. Excuse me. But what's also really cool, and I don't know, Monica, if you've started to poke around, what's very new this year, very new, is that at every piece where there is like work to be done, like if it says step 4, write an email, we have now created a myriad of trained AI bots that when you start plugging in your details, will do that work for you. And it is like unfreaking believable. Now, I'll tell you this, and I'm hoping this comes to fruition in time because we're working, it's a lot of trial and error. Like this is all like so new. This is all like happening right now, and it's a really exciting time. So we have this module that's like really famous within the community, which is module 4. Because module 4 helps you write and craft like your entire sales message and everything to sell the product. And then you can like turn it into a webinar. So we have a bot that we're working on right now that will produce your entire webinar slide deck. And it's in prototype right now, but it is looking really good and really awesome. And, when it's just a matter of when it will be available is really the thing. So that's just to give you an example, so like we have in the past, Monica, like people would come into BBD and I'd say, here's the questions you need to get clear on. And people, so many of our students, it was hard to watch how much they'd struggle. So for example, I'd say in this training, we have to create your customer avatar map. What deep down do they already want? What are their deepest fears? What are the mistakes they're making? What are their values? And when someone's new and they don't really understand the psychology of humans, that can be really hard. Like you're just staring at a blank canvas and you're just like, I don't know, like, what are their values? What is it that who am I just making this up, And now we have bots that you just type in whatever you do have, and it will color in all of that. And it is phenomenal. And then you take that and you start putting that into the next one, and it will identify what content you should be creating and teaching, the objections that are going to come up, and how you should structure your offer for it, and then how to write an entire email and sales campaign from it. And it's like, there it is. And so we feel like this year is going to be huge because we just removed one of the biggest bottlenecks and constraints to really getting your product out into the marketplace. And this is going to be really cool. So, and then on top of that, it's a community with a ton of coaching. And so I do over 16 weeks, I do a ton of live calls. And then I have a team of 8 coaches that also do a ton of calls. So in total, there's over 40 calls in 90 days that are not just training calls. They're not like, oh my God, she's just overwhelming us all this content. No, they're check-in calls. They're What are you working on today? What's getting in the way? What are you struggling with? What do you need help with right now? And like the level of support that we bring to the table is like unprecedented. And then we wrap the whole year with a huge celebration, our big 3-day event, which we call BBD Live, where everyone in the community comes together in person and we crowdsource what's working now. We set goals for the year. We celebrate the wins of the year. We connect with you. It's just like amazing. And so it's just this entire, the way I look at it, 360-degree approach to building a profitable, fulfilling business around one or multiple digital products. So that's business by design.
Yeah. And it's been awesome being part of BBD. Like I said, I've been in it for 4 years and it's the only program that I need. There is no part of me that's like, I need another program or another coach or another support. It's literally 360 degrees, every single angle, every single piece of support, every single idea, every single aspect of business that you need for a digital business is in there. And that's what I love about it is it's not piecemeal. It's not grab this and then you're stuck with the next step. It's every single part. And I think that's why you have so many members that do so well and love the community and love the support. So me being one of them who I just love everything about BBD. It's been such a
and that's the problem is Monica's one of my ideal students and clients, and be more like Monica, truly. And the things I love about, she didn't ask me to do this, but she's a very coachable student. She's very humble. She's very consistent and strategic. She literally just, I say, hey, go do this and go do it again. And she does, and she keeps growing every single time. And it's a joy. It's a joy. I want more clients and students like Monica, because I don't know, you're able to get out of your own way and put something out there that helps people and keep going and keep growing. And that's a really beautiful thing. So Monica really embodies and represents the values that we try to instill in all of our students. And I think people could learn a lot just from watching you. I really truly mean that, because I've gotten to know you a lot over the years and see what you've done. And it's like, you're nailing it, you're doing it. And that's it. That's what I want for people. And Business by Design was created to give people what I had when my business hits 2 million. At 2 million a year, I had 2 products, $97 course and a $50 a month membership. And I was only working a couple hours a day. And I just had like a virtual assistant and a part-time local assistant. And we were doing amazing. I was incredible. And, and that's what I want for people. And you're doing that and you're kicking butt. So it's really awesome. And so that's why it's a joy. It's like a full circle for me to be able to come and share all this with your people,
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm excited to see who joins, because I know that the people that come into your world are also very service driven of like, I have a mission, I have a purpose, I have a passion, I want to help more people. And I know a lot of my people feel that way. And the physical product is one vein of it, but exactly like you said earlier, there's a bigger vision, and I'm excited for them to step into that bigger vision and work with you to help them get that out there too. So thank you for being here, James.
Thank
I'll
you.
make sure to link all of your Instagram, your podcast, and Mind Your Business podcast. And I'm going to for sure link Doors, the link to Business by Design, because Doors will be open to BBD when this launches, so people can poke around and see what's in it, and also catch your live training that just ended at this point in time too, to learn even more about you. So that will all be in the show notes. And thank you so much, James, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Monica. And thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate it.
So there you have it. That is the man himself, my coach from the last 4 years, James Wedmore. And you can see he is a wealth of knowledge, experience, expertise, and he has a passion to help people. A passion to help people who want to help people. And that's the beauty of being part of his program, is that we are all individuals that want to serve others and help others and share our experiences with others to really make, at its simplest, the world a better place. No matter what it is, if you're teaching a new skill, a new hobby, a new passion, experience, knowledge, expertise, it is making the world a better place. And that's truly what this is about. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this episode that I'm offering some bonuses if you decide to enroll in Business by Design. Business by Design is James Wedmore's signature group coaching program. that I've been part of for the last 4 years that shares with you how to start and scale a digital business, have it be a membership, a course, a coaching program, a one-on-one coach. If you have any desire or passion to share some sort of knowledge, from how to teach polymer clay earrings to how to be successful in certain aspects of business, to energy work, to healing, to helping moms save money on groceries, to hormone support, sleep support, hair growth support, anything and anything that you have knowledge in from your own experience can be something that others can learn from. And if you want to share it with people, educate them through a membership or coaching program or course, then Business by Design is the one and only best program out there to show you exactly how to do that. Because when you do have a digital product, it is a different set of marketing skills, it is a different set of tactics, and it is a completely different strategy. And that is what Jame shares with you inside BBD. This is a program that I have used to scale Product Biz Academy, to grow it to where it is now. And if you are someone who wants to share your wisdom with the world, then this is going to help you do exactly that. Now, what I'm offering, if you enroll in Business by Design before doors close on June 12th at midnight Pacific time, I have a couple bonuses that I call the Authority Bootcamp. And this becomes yours absolutely free when you enroll in Business by Design by going to monicalittlecoaching.com/BBD bonuses. BBD as in Business by Design. All lowercase. Type that in, monicalittlecoaching.com/BBD bonuses. What you get in the Authority Bootcamp is a free rebrand. Or if this is a new section of your business, a new revenue stream, it may not be a rebrand. It may be a free new brand, where you work with my brand designer, fill in a questionnaire about how you want to impact the world, who your audience is, what you want to serve people with, and my brand team will create a visual identity that showcases your expertise with custom logo, custom color palette, custom font palette, custom brand vibes, so that you stand out and attract your new audience that you're going to be helping. I also support you in the Authority Bootcamp through getting in front of more people and creating an audience. And I do this in a couple ways. Number one, by teaching you how to host a joint venture webinar. I'm going to talk more about this in the next episode about how I personally use this, but when you're starting new with a membership or coaching program or course, what you can do is leverage other people's audiences through a joint venture webinar where you teach their people your expertise, and then you can pitch your program at the end. And it's a beautiful way to get exposure and get some of your first clients or members in your program. In the Authority Bootcamp, I also teach you how to pitch yourself to be on podcasts, including getting the opportunity to be a special guest on the Product Biz podcast, so you can share your experience and expertise here and have your first test run, have it with me, have it be something that you can share here and just get that one under your belt, in addition to learning how to pitch yourself to be on other people's podcasts so you can grow your following and get more members into your program that way too. And lastly, whenever we start a new revenue stream in our business that has a little bit different of a message, a little bit different of a marketing plan behind it, there is a difference in how we promote it on social media. So the fourth and final thing I offer you in the Authority Bootcamp is how to create thought-provoking Instagram content to align with this new audience that you'll be speaking to. Or maybe it's the same audience, but speaking to them in a new way to align with this new offering that you have, this new membership, this new course, this new program. And I teach you thought-provoking, thought-compelling, perspective-shifting content that cuts through the noise on social media, so people want to read and watch your posts and want to work with you. So if you are someone who's a handmade, physical, product-based business owner who has an idea or passion or purpose, now is the time to enroll in Business by Design. And when you go to monicalittlecoaching.com/BBD bonuses and click the link there to enroll via my page, you get the rebrand, the podcast pitching templates, the joint venture webinar instructions, and the social media content plan so that you have a brand that stands out, that you're confident in, so you know how to get in front of more people, not through legwork of your own, but leveraging other audiences, and so you know how to create content that creates members and people that want to work with you. That is all inside the Authority Bootcamp when you enroll in Business by Design by end of day Thursday at midnight. Now, if you have any questions at all, please email me, reach out to me on social media, let me know what your ideas are. I want to support you and help you here. And the next episode is going to dive more into detail about what you get in the Authority Bootcamp, how my journey to selling digital products, courses, programs, masterclasses started, and also a few other examples of other successful memberships from people that I know, what they're selling, what they're charging, and ideas for you to consider if you are a physical product-based business owner, so you can start to see what opportunities and options are really out there for you. I'm so excited to see who joins BBD and who creates this new revenue stream in their business, and who steps into this new version of themselves, this new vision of their business to impact even more people. That link one more time is monicalittlecoaching.com/BBD bonuses. And I can't wait to see you on the next episode of the Product Biz Podcast.